welcome back into another episode of Matt Sports Talk. And in this video, we are going to be recapping all the games from the women's side of things. So without further ado, let's dive into that. And the first matchup will take us to, and of course I mentioned in my men's video that the next RPI numbers are going to be out tomorrow. There's going to be another edition of the RPI next Monday, and then the final RPIs will come out Monday, March 2nd. And the final ARC and quad numbers are going to be coming out tomorrow and Tuesday, respectively. So again, I'll be recording videos going over all of that. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So looking at the games from yesterday on the women's side, Spring Arbor hosted Goshen. Spring Arbor, no problem here, 98-56, the final score here. And they forced Spring Arbor forced Goshen into 34 turnovers, and Spring Arbor scored 49 points off those turnovers. So Spring Arbor, for Goshen scored 7 points more than the total amount of points that Spring Arbor scored off their turnovers. So that's kind of a pretty crazy stat. And Goshen did have some bright spots despite all those turnovers. Kyla Foster with 12 points, 13 rebounds, so another double-double for her. She also had 4 assists, 1 steal, 4 of 8 shooting, 1 of 2 from deep, 3 of 4 at the line. 6 points for Sarah Elfrey, 3 of 4 shooting with 2 rebounds and a block. 3 points for Carrie Heiler with a rebound and an assist. 7 points for Ava Egoff, 3 of 8 shooting, 1 of 3 from deep, 2 rebounds, 2 steals. 6 points for Lillian Null, 2 of 4 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line, 2 rebounds and a steal. And then off the bench, you had Nyasha Goss, did not score, but she had 2 rebounds. And then 10 points for Policia Islam, 3 of 6 shooting, 2 of 4 from deep, 2 of 2 at the line, 3 assists for her. You also had 10 points for Ziane Finessi, 3 of 5 shooting, 4 of 4 at the line, 2 rebounds and 2 assists. Kyla Smith had a steal, and Lucia Luke Morales only with 2 points, 1 of 1 shooting, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. And Goshen, they didn't shoot the ball bad from the field at 43, and they really struggled from 3 at 33. And for the first time since, I believe I was, 2018, I want to say. Again, I don't remember off the top of my head, but the first time in several years that Goshen shot over 90% at the free throw line. They converted 11 out of 12 for 91.7%. So, boy, that is a rare thing to see Goshen do that well up a charity stripe. And then, meanwhile, for Spring Arbor, they only had 10 turnovers, so that pretty much tells you all you need to know there. Spring Arbor had really good balanced scoring. 18 points for Megan Zeitz, 8 of 11 shooting, 2 of 3 from deep, 6 rebounds for her. She also had a block, 3 points for Kylie Summer, which, again, a lot of these players starting was because it was senior day for Spring Arbor. Kylie Summer with 3 points, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 of 2 shooting. Elena Kolesa with 3 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. 11 points for Emma Smyska, 5 of 7 shooting, 1 of 1 at the line, 6 assists, 1 steal, 2 rebounds. 5 points for Lexi Linder with 5 steals, 1 assist. Off the bench, you had Elena Blumberg with 3 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound. You had 6 points for Ashley Weller, 2 of 3 shooting, 2 of 3 at the line, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal. 14 points for Madison Socini, 6 of 11 shooting, 2 of 3 from deep with 1 steal, or 2 of 3 at the line, I should say. 10 points for Haven Chapman, 2 of 5 shooting, 1 of 2 from deep, 5 of 5 at the line with 1 steal. 6 points for Rachel Reichert, off 3 of 4 shooting with 1 assist, 2 steals. 9 points for Rylan Goodwin, 4 of 8 shooting with 8 assists and 3 steals. Really good to see that. Aubrey Crockett did not score, but she had 2 rebounds and 2 assists. You had 6 points for Aubrey Calloway in just 6 minutes of action, 3 of 5 shooting, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal. 4 points for Cami Boonstra in just 8 minutes of action with 2 of 2 shooting. She also had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. And Spring Arbor shot a blistering 60% from the field, 50 from 3, and they were decent at the free throw line, converting 12 out of 17 for 70. And that was your matchup there. The next matchup will take us to Upland, Indiana, where Taylor hosted Receiving Votes Receiving Votes Huntington, and Taylor with the kind of a mild upset here, 78-68. And for Huntington, they were led by Annika Nelson, 14 points, 6 of 17 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line, 3 rebounds and a block. 11 points for Kendra Sheets, 10 assists, 1 rebound, 1 steal. 5 of 14 shooting, 1 of 5 from deep. You had 7 points for Tegan Akers, 2 of 2 shooting, 1 of 1 from deep, 2 of 2 at the line. So Akers did not miss a shot at all. 6 rebounds and a steal for her. You had 10 points for Addie Shank, 3 of 7 shooting, 4 of 6 at the line, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block. You only had 8 points for Liv Raby, 2 of 8 shooting, 4 of 4 at the line though. 9 rebounds, 3 assists for her. Off the bench, Peyton Hartsoe, 2 points with 1 assist. 4 points for Lauren Merritt, off 2 of 3 shooting, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals. And 12 points for Kendall Yoakum, 4 of 6 shooting, which was all from beyond the arc. 2 rebounds and a block for her. And Huntington didn't shoot the ball bad from the field at 43, 35% from 3, so they struggled there. And they were really, really good at the free throw line, converting 12 out of 14 for 85%. Meanwhile, for Taylor, they shot the ball equally as good from the field at 43, but the big difference here, Taylor shot 50% from 3, and they were slightly worse at the free throw line, albeit by not a lot, 12 out of 16 for 75. And leading the way for Taylor was a career high for Maddie Allen, 27 points, 9 of 14 shooting, 2 of 3 from deep, 7 of 9 at the line, and a lot of that was in the closing seconds. 5 rebounds and 3 assists plus 2 blocks for her. 19 points, another career high for Marissa Trout, 7 of 14 shooting, 3 of 4 from deep, 2 of 3 at the line. 3 rebounds, 1 assist for her. You had 10 points for Quinn Kelly and 14 rebounds, so a double-double for her. 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 4 of 8 shooting, 2 of 2 from deep. You also had Casey Warfel only with 9 points, so back-to-back games she's been held in single digits. 3 of 10 shooting, 1 of 4 from deep. She was 2 of 2 at the line, though. 3 points for Emma Full, 1 of 3 shooting, 1 of 2 from deep with 2 rebounds, 1 steal. Off the bench, you had Katie Moyer, 9 minutes of action with an assist. And Emma Anselet only with 1 point. That was at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists for her. And Micaiah Musselman in 2 minutes of action, no statistics. And Selena Blount, 9 points off the bench, 4 of 9 shooting, 1 of 1 from deep. 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Really, really good numbers there. And that was your matchup there. The next matchup will take us to Mount Vernon Nazarene, where Bethel went to Mount Vernon Nazarene, and Bethel the winners here. Bethel's just red hot right now. They win here 85-65, and leading the way for Bethel. A really, really good performance in terms of starters by Isabel Scales. 17 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double for her. 4 assists, 2 steals, 8 of 12 shooting, 1 of 3 at the line. You had 6 points for Olivia Nickerson, who struggled shooting at just 2 of 13, but she had 1 assist and 1 steal. 5 points for Jasmine Smith, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 2 of 4 shooting. Isabella No with 4 points. Now 2 of the 4 were at the free throw line, though. She also had 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. And a good starting effort by Mariah Claywell, 15 points for the senior. She struggled shooting at just 6 of 16, 1 of 2 from deep, 2 of 4 at the line, and she had 5 rebounds. Then off the bench, you had 2 points for Hannah Ruddle with 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. 7 points for Jocelyn Marshall, 3 of 4 shooting, 1 of 2 from deep with 1 assist, 1 steal. 3 points for Faith Fleetwood in 3 minutes of action, which was all from beyond the arc. Only 1 point for Allison Metzger in 2 minutes of action. That was at the free throw line. 1 assist for her. 2 points for Love Rain Gaskins in 10 minutes of action with 4 rebounds. Dominique Stilley, 5 minutes of action, no statistics. Annabelle Wilhite, 4 minutes of action, no statistics. And the big one was Justice Williams off the bench. 23 points, 9 of 13 shooting, 3 of 5 from deep, 2 of 3 at the line with 1 rebound, 1 assist. Bethel didn't shoot the ball bad from the field at 47. They really struggled from 3 at just 27, and they really struggled at the free throw line, converting 9 out of 17 for just 52. And for it, now the big difference here, Bethel only had 8 turnovers. Mount Vernon Nazarene was forced into 15. That was your big difference here. And MVNU shot slightly worse from the field at 44, but still not too terribly bad. Slightly better from 3, albeit by not a lot at 30. And better at the free throw line, converting 11 out of 17 for 64. And laying the way for Mount Vernon was Kylie Leibacher, 16 points, 7 of 10 shooting, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. 1 rebound, 3 assists. You only had 3 points for Melody Bluebaugh off 1 of 8 shooting, but she did have 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal, though. Abigail Hardwick did not score, but she had 4 rebounds and 4 assists. 7 points for Lily Shepard. She also had 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Angela Roshak had 12 points, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and no rebounds, so that's a huge, huge thing there. But Roshak was 5 of 7 shooting, so that obviously isn't too terribly bad. Off the bench, Addie Beard in 3 minutes of action, 2 points, both the charity stripe, 2 rebounds as well. 3 points for Olivia Skillings, 4 rebounds with 2 assists and 2 steals. And then 6 points for Naomi Kive at 2 of 4 shooting, which was all from deep. She also had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. 3 points for Jenna Brumbaugh in 5 minutes of action, which was all from beyond the arc. She also had 1 steal. And 13 points for Anna Swisshelm. Now, 7 of the 13 were at the free throw line, though. She also had 6 rebounds. And that was your matchup there. The next matchup takes us to Fort Wayne, Indiana, where number 4 Marion visited number 7 St. Francis. This was a top 10 showdown. I watched the first half of this game, and it was just an all-time classic. Marion, though, prevailing here 66-58, and leading the way for Marion. They had some excellent balance scoring. 12 points and 11 rebounds for Abby McNally. Really no surprise there. 5 of 9 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line. She also had 1 assist and 1 steal. You had 6 points for her sister Kylie. 3 of 9 shooting, 6 rebounds with 2 assists, 4 steals, 1 block. You had 12 points for Madison Bailey, all 5 of 13 shooting, 2 of 4 at the line. 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. You had 12 points for Taylor Double, 4 of 7 shooting, 4 of 6 of that was from beyond the arc. 3 rebounds, 1 assist for her. You also had 11 points for Olivia Faust, all 5 of 13 shooting with 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Off the bench, Kennedy Coleman, 10 minutes of action, had a rebound. 3 points for Zoe Wheeler in 6 minutes of action, which was all from beyond the arc. 8 points for Eva Fisher, 3 of 6 shooting, 2 of 2 from deep, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. And 2 points for Emily Grimm in just 4 minutes of action with a rebound. And Marion shot really good from the field at 45, really good from 3 at 44. And they did not get to the free throw line all that much, converting 4 out of 6 for 66%. 11 turnovers for Marion, 14 for St. Francis. St. Francis shot equally as good, nearly equally as good from the field at 40, also 40% from 3. And they only got to the free throw line 3 times, converted 2 of those for 66. And for St. Francis, you had 16 points for Julia Mantilla, 5 of 9 shooting, which was all from deep, 1 of 2 at the line, 5 rebounds and 1 block. 7 points for Renna Schweiderman, 3 of 7 shooting, 1 of 1 at the line, 4 assists, 1 block, 2 rebounds. You had 10 points for Taylor Fordyce, 4 of 6 shooting, 2 of 4 that was from deep. She also had 2 rebounds, 4 assists. And Isabella Gizzi did not score surprisingly, but she had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal though. And the big one for St. Francis was Callie Gregory, 23 points, 9 of 19 shooting, 5 of 9 from deep. She had 10 rebounds, 3 steals. Really good to see that. And then off the bench, Samaya Stout had 1 rebound in 10 minutes of action. Allison Show did not score, but she had 1 rebound and 1 assist. And Emma Royce with 2 points and 2 rebounds. And that was your matchup there. The final matchup takes us to Winona Lake, where Receiving Votes Indiana Wesleyan face off against Grace. And, of course, the first time these two teams met in Marion, Indiana. Last month, Grace won 90-80, which was their first win ever in Lucky Arena in their all-time program history. Grace was looking to sweep the Lady Wildcats for the first time since 1990 and since the 1990/1991 season. However, the Lady Wildcats prevailing here despite missing 10 free throws, which also now the first time they played Grace at home, they missed 11 free throws. So yesterday was almost a carbon copy of that. However, Indiana Wesleyan, the win prevailing here 77-71, and the big difference was that at the end of the third quarter, Grace had a three-pointer that was originally made by Emma Sperry that was called off due to a shot clock violation, and Indiana Wesleyan had a second and a half to get the ball up the court. Indiana Wesleyan had a full-court pass heave that Addie Hovey caught and scored a layup at the end of a third quarter, and Indiana Wesleyan outscoring Grace 18-11 in the fourth quarter, and that was all the difference there. And leading the way, of course, for Indiana Wesleyan, a career high for Mila Browning in her second straight game starting, 17 points, 6 of 9 shooting, 5 of 7 from beyond the arc. She had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal, so what a job by the young freshman. You had 14 points for Ayla Krieger, who struggled shooting at 4 of 11, but she was 5 of 9 at the line. Now, 2 of those 5 were in the last minute of the game that literally iced the game for the Lady Wildcats. Krieger also had 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Only 6 points for Kylie Bettinger, but she had 5 rebounds and 1 assist. 12 points for Addie Hovey and 11 rebounds, so a double-double for the other young freshman. 5 of 16 shooting, 1 of 3 from deep, 1 of 2 at the line, 2 steals and a block. You had 7 points for Jade Hovey, 3 of 6 shooting, 1 of 4 at the line, 7 rebounds and 4 assists. Off the bench, you had Haley Amy with 4 points, 2 of 2 shooting, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. 5 points for Tori Thompson, 2 of 4 shooting, 1 of 3 from deep, 2 rebounds, 2 assists for her. You had 6 points for Corinne Grivey in just 8 minutes of action, 2 of 6 shooting, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. And 6 points for Ellie Kelleher, 2 of 6 shooting, 1 of 3 from deep, 1 of 2 at the line, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. And the Wildcats shot really good from the field at 40%, which is about what they did in the first matchup a month ago. They shot 39 from 3, which was better by about 10% than what they did the first matchup. And they were really struggling at the free-throw line, converting 8 out of 18 for 44. And when they played Grace at home, the Wildcats only shot 50, I believe it was 56% at the line. So pretty much carbon copy. And the Wildcats, the other big difference in this game, the Lady Wildcats only had 14 turnovers, whereas when they hosted Grace at home, they had 25. So obviously that made another big difference there. And they forced Grace into 15 turnovers. So again, that pretty even in that category. However, they held the Lancers to only 36% shooting from the floor. And when they played Grace at home, Grace shot 40%, I believe, from the floor. And Grace, I believe, was like 47% from 3. The first time they held Grace to just 33% from deep this time. And Grace, the last time, I believe, shot 90. I believe they shot 83 at the line. And this time, they shot literally that same exact number, 19 out of 23 for 82.6. And leading the way for Grace was Emma Sperry with 19 points. However, 5 of the 19 were at the free throw line, though. So they held her essentially to just 14 points total on the game. When the first time these two teams met, she went off for, I believe, 34. However, 10 of the 34 were at the free throw line. So last time, Sperry put 24 points up on the Lady Wildcats. The Wildcats this time held her to just 14 points on the day outside of free throws. So again, much better defensive effort this time by the Lady Wildcats. Sperry struggled shooting at just 6 of 22. I mentioned she was 5 of 5 at the line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. 14 points, Rebecca Longenbaugh, who really had a good shooting game. 4 of 10 from the floor, 4 of 9 of that was from beyond the arc. 2 of 4 at the line. She had 1 rebound and 1 assist. Only 2 points for Braylon Terrell, but she had 6 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1 block, though. And then only 9 points for Maddie Pointer. And Pointer, the first time these two teams met, I believe, had 20. I believe it was 23 or 24. So again, they did a really good job. The Lady Wildcats defense, really good job on Pointer yesterday. Now they held her 9. Now 5 of the 9 were at the free throw line, so they held Pointer essentially to just 4 points. So again, really good defensive effort by the Lady Wildcats. Pointer with 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. 7 points for Morgan Halk, who I believe had 19 or 20 the first time. So again, the Lady Wildcats defense, a phenomenal job this time. 2 of 5 shooting for Halk, 2 of 2 at the line, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Off the bench, Abby Ritzema, 3 minutes of action, no statistics. Molly Long, 1 minute of action, no statistics. Paula Fernandez, no statistics. Ava Yordi, 3 minutes of action, no statistics. Riley Wetz, 9 points off the bench, 3 of 4 shooting, which is all from deep. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal for her. And 11 points for Becca Gert, 3 of 7 shooting, 5 of 6 at the line. She had 12 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 1 block. So a double-double for her. And that was your matchup there. And that concludes recapping all the games from yesterday. And looking ahead to the games on Wednesday, you will have Grace at Bethel, Mount Vernon Nazarene at Goshen, number 7 St. Francis at Receiving Votes Huntington. That should be a really good game. Number 16 Spring Arbor at Receiving Votes Taylor. And America's Game of the Week, number 4 Marion at Receiving Votes Indiana Wesleyan. A lot is on the line in terms of playoff seeding. So looking at the updated playoff seeding, Marion 14-2. They need 1 more win and or 1 more St. Francis loss for Marion to clinch the 1 seed in the Crossroads League tournament and to get the first auto bid into the national tournament. St. Francis 13-3, the 2 seed, 1 game ahead of Spring Arbor at 12-4. For Spring Arbor to be the 2 seed, they need to win out, have St. Francis lose out. Spring Arbor has officially locked no worse than the number 3 seed. The same thing for St. Francis. Huntington, though, still a 4 seed at 10-6. However, Bethel and Indiana Wesleyan are catching Huntington. They both are only 1 game behind for the 4 seed. However, Huntington does hold the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Wildcats. Bethel holds the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Foresters. So the 4, 5, and 6 seed is really getting interesting, that's for sure. Now, if with a Huntington win on Wednesday, that officially would eliminate Indiana Wesleyan from that number 4 seed, even if Indiana Wesleyan upsets Marion. So for Huntington, they need a win on Wednesday to officially lock the number 4 seed, with as well as a Grace win over Bethel and a Huntington win. That would lock Huntington into that number 4 spot. However, if Huntington loses to St. Francis, Bethel beats Grace, Then Bethel would move into that number 4 spot. Huntington would fall to a number 5 seed with 1 regular season game remaining, and it would all come down to next Saturday when Bethel plays Indiana Wesleyan and Huntington goes to Marion. So again, there is a lot on the line for Indiana Wesleyan. For them to be the number 4 seed, they need to win out, have Huntington lose out, and have Bethel only win 1 out of 2. And then then Indiana Wesleyan would be that number 4 seed. Bethel would be the 5. Huntington would be the 6. The other scenario for Indiana Wesleyan to be that number 4 seed is beat Marion on Wednesday night, lose to Bethel next Saturday, have Huntington lose out, and have Bethel beat Grace on Saturday. And then that would officially, then Indiana Wesleyan in that scenario would be the only other scenario for the Lady Wildcats to be that number 4 seed. And then in that scenario, Indiana Wesleyan would be the 4 seed, Bethel would be the 5, and Huntington would fall to the 6. So as you can see, there is a lot on the line on Wednesday, especially for these 4, 5, and 6 teams. 4, 5, and 6 seeds, I guess I should say, between Huntington, Bethel, and Indiana Wesleyan. There is a ton on the line. We are going to have a much better understanding after Wednesday who officially is going to hold all the tiebreakers. And then looking down outside of 6th place, you have Taylor at 7 and 9, solely into that number 7 spot. Taylor cannot get any higher. So Taylor officially has locked that number 7 seed because they are 4 games ahead of Grace. Grace cannot catch them. Taylor cannot jump ahead of Bethel or Indiana Wesleyan because of Bethel sweeping Huntington, even though Taylor and Bethel split. And Taylor cannot jump ahead of Indiana Wesleyan because even though Taylor and Indiana Wesleyan split, Taylor got swept by St. Francis. Indiana Wesleyan swept St. Francis. So that common opponent tiebreaker would favor the Lady Wildcats. So that means that the Lady Trojans of Taylor officially are no worse than the 7 seed and no higher than the 7 seed. So for Taylor, they have Spring Arbor on Wednesday and then at Mount Vernon Nazarene to end the regular season. And then Taylor more than likely will be either at St. Francis or at Spring Arbor next Tuesday night in the opening round of the league tournament because of them being that number 7 seed. Goshen has been eliminated from playoff contention. And now for Mount Vernon Nazarene needs to win out and have Grace lose out for MVNU to get into that number 8 spot. If Grace beats Bethel on Wednesday and or Mount Vernon Nazarene loses to Goshen, even if Mount Vernon won on Wednesday, and even if Grace won on Wednesday, Grace still would lock that number 8 seed, meaning they would be going to either Marion or St. Francis next Tuesday night, and more so, I think it would be Marion. So that is an updated view of the Crossroads League standings. So we know for sure who that number 7 seed is. It will be Taylor. We pretty much know who that, or more than likely know who that number 8 seed will be, and that will be Grace. And the 4, 5, and 6 still up for grabs between Huntington, Bethel, and Indiana Wesleyan. Spring Arbor and St. Francis both no worse than the number 3 seed respectively. So again, with a St. Francis win on Wednesday, even if Spring Arbor beats Taylor, with a St. Francis win on Wednesday, St. Francis would lock officially no worse than the 2 seed, even with Spring Arbor, let's say, beating Taylor. And then St. Francis would be that number, or actually, St. Francis would, well, Spring Arbor would hold, no, Spring Arbor got swept by Marion, St. Francis and Marion split. So yeah, St. Francis would hold the common opponent tiebreaker over Spring Arbor. So meaning if St. Francis beats Huntington Wednesday, even if Spring Arbor beats Taylor, Spring Arbor officially would not be able to get to that number 2 seed. So Spring Arbor, even if they beat Taylor Wednesday and St. Francis beats Huntington Wednesday, Spring Arbor officially would be that number 3 seed after Wednesday night, and St. Francis officially would be no worse than the number 2 seed. So again, that is an updated view of the playoff race. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how all that plays out. That is for sure. So now again, please stay tuned. Tomorrow I'll be recording a video going over the final RPI numbers with you. And then on Tuesday, I'll be going over a video. I can't remember off the top of my head if the ARC or the quad numbers come out on, actually I think one of them comes out tomorrow as well. I believe that's the quad records come out tomorrow. And I believe the ARC numbers come out Tuesday. So again, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel so you do not miss out on those videos, because this is going to give us an excellent view on who is more than likely, who is in the national tournament, who's on the bubble, all that good stuff. That is going to be coming your way tomorrow and Tuesday, respectively. So again, please make sure that you stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for tuning into this video. I hope and pray you have a great rest of your day. And if you did enjoy this video or find it helpful, please either like, comment, or subscribe. Any one of those options helps me out greatly. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I will see you tomorrow with more of Matt's Sports Talk as we inch closer and closer to the national tournament and the league tournaments as well. God bless.